The Chiefs are currently over the salary cap in 2025, but it doesn't matter because they have been big-time spenders in free agency. They just signed left tackle Jalen Moore, running back Elijah Mitchell, and they brought back wide receiver Hollywood Brown and extended Nick Bolton. In this video, I'm going to give my thoughts and reactions to these signings and talk about how it's going to affect this Chiefs team in 2025 and beyond. You guys are listening to the KC Sports Report. My name is Michael Darcy. Hit that like button on this video and subscribe to this channel for more of the best daily Chiefs content on YouTube. First and foremost, I'd like to apologize for the lack of content this weekend. We had so much stuff breaking with the Xavier Worthy drama, re-signing Hollywood Brown, and extending Nick Bolton. I didn't have the opportunity to talk about any of those because my computer broke and it's still broken. So if you guys are even seeing this video, we should consider ourselves lucky, but I do hope to get a new computer in the coming days and the daily content will continue to flow. But we've got so much stuff to talk about because on the first day of free agency, the Chiefs got their left tackle for 2025 and potentially 2026 when they brought in San Francisco 49ers backup left tackle Jalen Moore to a 2-year deal worth up to $30 million with $22 million of that fully guaranteed, which is a pretty substantial contract. But you also saw a guy in Dan Moore Jr. go to the Tennessee Titans. He was the Pittsburgh Steelers left tackle. He signed a 4-year deal worth $82 million. And so the fact the Chiefs got Jalen Moore for substantially less money and they're not hamstringing themselves, tying themselves together with Jalen Moore for the long term, I think is a fantastic thing. You've got him essentially on a 1-year contract, and if he's great, he can come back for another year. If he's not, the Chiefs can cut their losses and go on and try to find their left tackle of the future. I know a lot of Chiefs fans wanted Ronnie Stanley, and Laremy Tunsil just got traded from the Houston Texans to the Washington Commanders. The Houston Texans were never going to trade Laremy Tunsil in the conference, and so the Chiefs probably were never in on that sweepstakes. But getting Jalen Moore, I think, is a very low risk, but has the opportunity to be a good reward. He was someone that backed up the legend Trent Williams in San Francisco. He's shown flashes of being a very solid left tackle. And again, I don't have my computer, so I can't put stats up on the screen, but I did want to read off some very good metrics for Jalen Moore because while he didn't play a ton of games in San Francisco because he was the backup, Trent Williams gets hurt a lot. So he was able to, fill in. And Jalen Moore has only had one penalty in 831 career snaps. And that one penalty came as a rookie. So this is a guy that I do think you can rely on. In 2024, he had 10 pressures and only allowed 1 sack. So the numbers are there. There's upside here with Jalen Moore. And again, it's practically a 1-year deal. And if he works out, the Chiefs can bring him back next year. But I don't think he's the long-term solution unless he works out. But again, guys, if we just look at the left tackle market with guys like, Ronnie Stanley and Dan Moore Jr. getting paid a lot of money in free agency, it wasn't going to make sense for the Chiefs to go for one of those guys. So Jalen Moore is a guy that I think is going to be your day one starting left tackle. He is a bit expensive coming in at $15 million a season. But again, guys, he is only going to be on the hook for 2025. They could move off of him, but if he works out like I think they hope he does, he could be the long-term starter at left tackle. So I love this signing. I think that it's got, the potential to be a very high upside signing. The next one, they just signed his teammate from San Francisco, bringing in running back Elijah Mitchell, who was not a very high draft pick. He signed a 1-year contract worth $3.5 million. This one's interesting because Elijah Mitchell missed all of last year. He's been hurt throughout his career. In his rookie season, he was fantastic. He showed a lot of upside. I think Elijah Mitchell is a very good signing. Again, it's a very low risk, but has the potential to be a very high reward. I saw someone compare him to the Ronald Jones signing of a couple years ago. He could be someone that doesn't make this team, but if he is healthy, he is going to raise the floor of this running back room. He has big playability. He has the, ability to, run in between the tackles and pick up big gains, and I think he's going to fit in this running back room. I don't think he is the solution. I still think the Chiefs should go out and draft a running back in, the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round, but if you've got Isaiah Pacheco, Elijah Mitchell, a draft pick, you're going to be in really good shape. And maybe they go out and re-sign, Kareem Hunt. I just saw that Samaje Perine went back to the Cincinnati Bengals. So, thank you for your time in Kansas City, Samaje. But the Chiefs are trying to get, younger and more explosive at that position. So I do understand that. But now let's get into talking about some of the things that happened this weekend. The Chiefs made a couple of, I don't want to say no-brainer moves, but moves that just made sense for this Chiefs team. The Chiefs signed Hollywood Brown on a 1-year deal worth $11 million, which that is the max value of the contract. Basically how it works is Brown's contract is a $3 million signing bonus, $3.35 million in guaranteed money, $14,000 per game, active roster bonus with a $250,000 workout bonus and a $6.5 million total guarantee with $4 million in incentives. So the Chiefs signed him to a 1-year deal that is pretty incentive-based, but I like this because we didn't get to see Hollywood Brown in this offense for an entire season. He got hurt in the preseason. We got him back with like 3-4 games left to go in the regular season. Hopefully he's healthy, has a better grasp of this offense, and he can be a very reliable player for this offense. And listen, we woke up to the news on, I believe it was Saturday, or maybe it was Sunday, that Xavier Worthy got into a bit of trouble down in Texas. Well, I luckily did not speak on this. He essentially, so he was arrested for basically strangulation in Texas, but the DAs in Texas did decline to, place charges on Xavier Worthy. Essentially I'm not trying to butcher this, so let me try to find the tweet really quickly. Again, guys, flying by the seat of my pants right now. This tweet says, DA won't charge Xavier Worthy for domestic violence after an independent witness came forward to say that he was the victim. Worthy has tried to get his fiancée, Tia Jones, to leave for 2 weeks. And, he tried to, tell her to leave. And he found out that she actually cheated on him. So not a really great situation for Xavier Worthy. And then not only did his fiancée cheat on Xavier Worthy, she pulled out his hair and destroyed his property. So Xavier Worthy actually ended up being the victim in this situation, which I'm glad that I didn't come out and talk about it because, listen, the very early on hours on Twitter after this happened, it was not good. I think Xavier Worthy owes, or gets owed an apology by a lot of people around the NFL because he's innocent. He didn't do a single thing, and you really hate to see that in his personal life. Hopefully that gets cleared up and it doesn't affect his mental state too much, but man, that's a that's a situation, for lack of a better term. But then the final thing that happened, the Chiefs are re-signing linebacker Nick Bolton on a 3-year, $45 million deal with $30 million fully guaranteed. I know this signing is probably the most controversial of the offseason, at least so far. I like Nick Bolton. I think he's a player that Steve Spagnuolo absolutely loves. And listen, I went to the Super Bowl. I got to talk to Steve Spagnuolo. I got to talk to Nick Bolton. The Chiefs front office and Steve Spagnuolo value Nick Bolton a lot. Nick Bolton is Steve Spagnuolo's guy. And so I think that I actually thought, after my conversations with, personnel of the team, Nick Bolton himself, I was kind of like, okay, he is incredibly important to this team, and he's someone that Steve Spagnuolo not only loves, but he trusts. And so I didn't think that we were going to see Nick Bolton go anywhere else. I thought that they were going to franchise tag him, but I thought he might try to find his way back in Kansas City. And listen, I've heard the complaints about his coverage. I've heard all of that. Nick Bolton has been able to run Steve Spagnuolo's complicated defense. We're not that far removed from the Damian Wilson and Anthony Hitchens of the world, and so the Chiefs got someone that's not cheap, but is kind of middle of the pack in terms of, linebacker contracts. They're paying him for the next, I guess 3 years, but it's really, if we're just looking at the contract, it's really a 2-year, $30 million contract. That $30 million is fully guaranteed. They could move on after that third year, or I guess after that second year going into the third year, but knowing how this team and franchise values Nick Bolton, I think he's probably going to be here for a while. Another thing that's worth mentioning, Trey Smith just signed his franchise tag. So Trey Smith was placed under the tag by the Kansas City Chiefs as they're trying to get a contract worked out. They have not been able to get a contract worked out, and he ended up signing the franchise tag, which is giving him a $23.4 million salary, which is fully guaranteed in 2025. So Trey Smith just got a bag for 1 year. Kind of surprised the Chiefs have not worked out a long-term deal yet. It's probably going to be later on in training camp if they get anything worked out at all. But you're not super excited to see Trey Smith, sign that franchise tag and take that $23.4 million cap hit in 2025, especially when the Chiefs are trying to do so many other things, sign so many other players. But man, I don't understand the roster construction, but listen, they have been to a bunch of Super Bowls. They've won 3 of them. Who am I to say that this isn't going to work out? So at face value, the Chiefs have been incredibly busy during free agency. They have signed so many players. They've brought back a lot of players that they've had on this team. I think that is very interesting. And I think that we're going to see more players come back or either get signed in the coming days. So guys, that is all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more daily Chiefs coverage. Again, apologies for the lack of content over the weekend. Hope to get that new computer in the next couple of days. Hopefully you're seeing this video, and if you are seeing this video, hit that like button and comment down below. Which player is your favorite signing the Chiefs have made so far? I think there's so many good options. If I'm just looking at value, I would probably say that Jalen Moore is the best signing, but also bringing back Hollywood Brown for another year is pretty good as well. So Chiefs Kingdom, that is all I have for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Chiefs!